Because we stand up for decent values. We stand up against racism. We stand up against misogyny. We stand up for migrants. We stand up against walls. We stand up for decency in politics. But there is no compromise with racism. There is no compromise with our basic principles on human rights, and that's why we're here. We will fight for our principles, and we know there's a majority in this country against racism, a majority against misogyny, a majority against homophobia. And also, let's be clear, we stand up to racism, but climate change is also a key factor in this. He has appointed ExxonMobil's chief executive, the biggest funder of anti-climate change rhetoric. This is a real danger to our planet, a danger to our planet and a danger to the people that suffer from climate change first, the poor people of this globe. So on all these fronts, there is no compromise. We fight, we'll fight, and we'll build a majority in this country. And if he dares to come here, we will be here in millions outside this embassy protesting.
Some people are trying to make good out of this situation, that perhaps Trump is not as bad as his word. Perhaps deeds are not going to be as bad as his words have been so far on the question of the climate. I think that's an absolute mistake. Everything that he has said and done should leave us in no doubt whatsoever that he is a disaster for the planet, that he will make sure that his friends in the fossil fuel industry are helped to extract every last ounce of fossil fuel despite the consequences for the climate and regardless of the alternatives to fossil fuels, that he will wreck and undermine any global treaty that gets in his way and gets in his rich friends' way, such as the Paris Agreement, and that he'll plug any kind of funding, he'll pull the plug on any kind of funding needed to understand climate change like he's promised in terms of NASA funding, so that his supporters in the alt-right think tanks can pump out their lies and their misinformation about what is really happening or what is not really happening to the climate and why that is happening. And if you remain in any doubt whatsoever about Trump's intentions about the climate, his unwillingness to take any kind of action on the climate, then look at his appointees for government and banish those doubts. Absolutely. The top job of Secretary of State has gone to Rex Tillerson. Rex Tillerson has done no other job but work for ExxonMobil all his life. This is an oil company that has exploited the oil's resources for the Earth's resources for their own profits. It's a company that has put the profits before the needs of the planet and the people on it. This is a company that has known about climate change since the 1980s and has spent its time and its efforts lying to the public and the population about climate change. Rex Tillerson has also brokered the deal with the Russian oil company to exploit the oil reserves under the Arctic. These are the people that Trump has put into the top positions, and the rest of his government is stuffed full of climate skeptics, fossil fuel employees, and people that don't care at all about what is happening to ordinary people.
To be clear, he chose in his cabinet to choose somebody called Mad Dog Maddox in charge of the nuclear arms. There's not only one mad dog in his cabinet, it's full of a pack of wild, billionaire, mad dogs. And when you have a mad dog, you have to do something about it, because they bite everybody. They bite the women that demand the right for free and fair abortion. They demand, when he insults a reporter that's disabled, he insults us all, because we will stand together against those people that say we're second class. And when he talks about Mexicans and Hispanics, They are the people that are in his hospitals. They are the doctors. They are the teachers. And the reason why he does it is because in America, they use racism to divide and control. Frederick Douglass said there cannot be any progress without struggle. And are we going to struggle? Are we going to struggle? And the reason why we must struggle is because we do not stand alone. He says he's a billionaire so he can do what he likes. But you have just been elected. But every day and every hour that you've been elected, we're going to resist you. Those people that say that women are second-class citizens.
Know that in Britain there are forces that want to go the whole hog with Trump and his billionaire populism. It's not popular, it's merely bringing the billionaires into politics because they don't like democracy. He said he wanted to drain the swamp. Well, he's filled it with the alligators of the bankers, the super rich in America.
People have nothing to do with the people who have been left behind. They are the people at the top of the pinnacle, and we have to topple them because they represent the most reactionary, racist, misogynist, homophobic views in our society. As well as giving confidence to racists and bigots, he's also giving confidence to people like Boris Johnson, and he's giving confidence to people like Michael Gove, who went over to see him. And most of all, he gave confidence to Nigel Farage, the scumbag. I was sick when I saw three scumbags standing together in the United States. It tells us that when he gives confidence to UKIP, it is a bridge of reaction from the United States to this country. And we have to fight here. Donald Trump says that he thinks that borders should come up to reject people. Down with Donald Trump, down with racism, down with sexism, down with homophobia. Let's stand in unity together.
We can't get Trump unelected, but we can come here together as we are in our thousands, and when this man deigns to come to these shores, hopefully in our millions, to actually say to him, we don't believe in your values. We don't believe in your xenophobia, your racism, your misogyny. Take it back.
We will not allow people to insult people with disabilities. We think people have got abilities and people have got overs. Paula Peters.
Well, solidarity to all Americans who didn't vote for Trump. We are with you. And this is to our disabled brothers and sisters in America today. We are with you. And whatever campaign you decide to do from here, we will work with you, we will support you. And we must remember, and Donald Trump take note, that disabled American citizens have the record of the longest occupation in a federal building in US history. So this is to American workers, to American disabled citizens. You need to strike, you need to occupy, and you need to protest. And this is to say, we are not going to accept racism, we are not going to accept Islamophobia, we are not going to accept misogyny, we are not going to accept discrimination on any form. But the similarities between the Tories and the American government are frightening. Trump was elected on rhetoric that was normalised in the media. He used the language to turn one group against another, to spread the division. Rhetoric the government used here, turning migrant against citizen, turning worker against claimant. We have got to come together, stand up and fight racism wherever we see it. Challenge the rhetoric, say enough is enough. And we say to the American people now, you know what needs to be done to dump Trump. You know what needs to be done to our American disabled counterparts. Occupy every federal building when he plunges Medicaid. Occupy every federal building when he plunges Social Security. occupy every building, when he repeals the Affordable Care Act, because disabled activists in the States are now saying they are in a fight now for the right to live. We know that only too well here in the UK. We are fighting for the right to exist here. Disabled people are dying every day due to the cuts that this government are rhetoric. But disabled people are dying due to the hate crime that the media spread every day. We are not useless eaters. We are not a burden, and we will fight for our rights. And this is a message. We will fight the rise of fascism. We will fight the rise of racism. We will fight the rise of Islamophobia and homophobia. And this is a message to Donald Trump. You will kiss our ass if we're going to sing your praises. You are not recognised as president. You did not win the popular vote. You bought the presidency. And I can tell you something. We now unite, we fight, and we get the Tories and we dump Trump. But last thing. Please pay solidarity to Bridges Not Walls, who done an amazing day today. Keep the fight going, and on behalf of Deepak, solidarity.
It's beyond no illusion. When the rhetoric that he used in his campaign talked about draining the swamp, we know it was rhetoric because his actions since have seen him introduce a billionaire for every section of his cabinet. Billionaire introduced by billionaire, working for billionaire, the people behind the hardship and the exploitation of working people. We cannot allow the media that pulls that message into everybody's home every morning in your newspapers to go unchallenged. I believe that we, standing together in a global solidarity, can change the world built on solidarity. I believe that if we all stand together and unite, we can create such a noise that we become unstoppable. We become unstoppable. Power to the people, because the people have the power. We can be the change. We must be the change. Solidarity.
Is Kate Hudson, the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament's General Secretary. Please give Kate a warm welcome.
Thanks very much, Savvy. It's lucky that there's a lot of you here this evening because I need your help, because I'm being followed around by a very dangerous character. This man who is today becoming the most powerful man in the world, the incumbent in the White House, the President of the United States, he has his finger now on the nuclear button. Make no mistake about it. The President of the United States, every day of the year, is followed closely by military personnel holding the nuclear codes in a bag such as this. So every second of the day, Donald Trump will be just inches from the nuclear button. Can you think of anything more dangerous than that? Just in case you don't know any of the facts about the US nuclear arsenal, they currently have in the region of 7,000 nuclear weapons. Many of them are 1,000 times the size of the Hiroshima bomb. So the United States, under Donald Trump's nuclear trigger finger, has the capacity to destroy all human life, every single form of life on this planet, many times over. Now, do we think that Donald Trump can be trusted with that responsibility. I say no, we cannot trust Donald Trump. And if you listen to the comments that he made during his campaign, you will be even more alarmed. He is the candidate for the presidency who said, I'd be fine about nuclear bombing Europe, because Europe is a big place. He also said that he thought more countries should get nuclear weapons. He suggested maybe Japan and South Korea should get nuclear weapons. He said he was fine about the prospect of a nuclear arms race in Asia. Well, that is not somebody who is fit to hold the post of the President of the United States. Now, 2 or 3 days before Christmas, he put out one of his famous tweets, and in that tweet he said 2 things. He said, first of all, I think that the United States should get more, bigger and better, much stronger nuclear weapons. Why does he think that when they've already got 7,000? That is just complete insanity. And then he went on to say, we will do that until such time as the rest of the world comes to its senses with regards to nuclear weapons. Well, there are 192 countries without nuclear weapons who don't want nuclear weapons, who have never tried to get them and have formed themselves into nuclear weapons-free zones. So I suggest that the rest of the world has always been sensible about nuclear weapons, has always been against nuclear weapons. The problem in the world is people like Donald Trump who want more, bigger and better nuclear weapons. And can I say that also applies to our own government as well. Our own government is committing £205 billion to a new nuclear weapons system. So those are the dangerous characters in our world. The Trumps, the Mays, the people who want to spend money on nuclear weapons, not the overwhelming majority of countries in the world. In fact, currently, the UN General Assembly is starting to negotiate a global ban on nuclear weapons. Where is the US? Where is Britain when it comes to negotiating that global ban? They're against it. They're against the ban. So they are on the wrong side of history. They are on the wrong side of the will of the people of the world. We are the global majority. We will abolish nuclear weapons. Comrades, together, we will prevail. Thank you.
As a precondition of that democracy is liberty and dissent, and that is why the campaign to remove and to replace Donald Trump starts today. Over the next 4 years or even before. Because we stand together. We stand up for the rights of the Guantanamo detainees. And I was here over many hours, month in, month out, to bring back Sheikh Arma and others to the country where they live. And we will stand up for Alan Kurdi and those like him, washed up onto the shores of the Mediterranean. How obscene in the 21st century that we are bulldozing over those wretched camps in Calais and elsewhere. Let me warn you, Trump, if you dare to build those walls, you will find us in solidarity. We promise and we pledge to build the most beautiful, spectacular bridges that will go over those walls. Thank you from the Green Party for justice, peace and planet.
People have made a lot of questions. How did Trump win? It's not difficult. When you look at the Michigan Rust Belt, when people's lives have been ruined by successive government after government, just like in this country, in places like the north of England, when people's lives have been wrecked by unemployment, by being wrecked by bad housing, by government after government, it's not surprising that situation when some populist, nasty, vicious racist comes along and tries to blame black people for it, some fall for it. That's why we as trade unionists not only fight against racism, we try to fight against the causes of racism, against austerity, against cuts. That's what we're trying to do on the 4th of February to build that movement. Solidarity today. This is the beginning of the struggle to turn the tide of the likes of Trump. People sometimes get despair, but the sleeping giant of the working class of the United States of America should not be trifled with, Mr. Trump. Solidarity.
Know what Donald stands for, and he doesn't do anything to promote the underrepresented in society or the working class. Indeed, as we've heard already, one of the first things that Donald Trump is going to do is to try and undo the excellent work of the previous president in dismantling Obamacare. Trump is a dangerous man. He sets human against human. We have seen who has allied themselves to Donald Trump. Nigel Farage. Nigel is the man who sparked a far-right revival in the UK. He is standing side by side with Trump. Leading figures of the Ku Klux Klan are standing side by side with Donald Trump. The Front National's Marie Le Pen has already been over to see Donald Trump. So the nastiest far-right politicians in the West are queuing up to shake this man's hand and endorse what he stands for. But we are all gathered today to say that we do not endorse what he stands for, and as it's already been said, we do not accept Donald Trump as the President of America, and we will be there to fight against his xenophobic behaviours. He cannot drive division in society, and we will protect people and stand up for everyone's right. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Climate played a massive part. Climate played a massive part in Trump's election campaign, but not in the way that we would want it to, where the real issues are flagged up and the urgency of the situation is centre stage. Instead, what Trump's campaigning did around the climate was the following. He used climate and his climate skeptic friends and his cronies in order to breed even further division. So climate change became a Chinese hoax to take US jobs, which I was thinking about that earlier actually today. That's giving the Chinese a huge amount of power, the power to increase the planet's temperatures by 1 degree since pre-industrial time, the power to melt the Arctic, and the power to produce extreme weather events on a scale that we haven't ever seen before. Well done, the Chinese. What a ridiculous thing to say that climate change is a Chinese hoax. In working class communities, he presented climate change as a politically correct issue which should be rejected to maintain US jobs. Now nothing could be further from the truth. We stand today knowing that our planet is warming faster than it ever has done. Climate change is real, and make no mistake about it. It is the poorest, it is the working class communities in the world and in the US that will suffer most and hardest as a result of climate change. And tackling climate change doesn't mean a loss of jobs. That's the biggest lie of all. If we were tackling climate change properly, real jobs would be created. Jobs actually protecting the planet and protecting the people on it. So what can we do? We have to stand in solidarity, first of all, with every action that is taken by the growing US climate environmental movement, and I want to say a massive act of solidarity with the Standing Rock First Nation protesters. What absolute bravery, what utter bravery to stand up and challenge the Dakota pipeline. This is a pipeline, by the way, that Trump has got money in it, and he wants to see it go ahead. So every time we see our brave friends in America stand up and challenge Trump on climate, we must stand alongside them. We have to make sure that Trump does not divide us. We have to stand in solidarity with migrants and refugees, and we have to stand in solidarity with climate refugees, with the thousands of people that are increasingly needing to leave their homes because of the impacts of climate change. Please come along and join us on the 11th of February at our conference on climate refugees. And we have to make sure that he is not able to counterpose environment versus jobs. It's a false equation, and it's one that he won ground on in working class communities, and we must not let him win ground on that anymore. Solidarity.
To now welcome our next speaker, who is Aman Ali from the Muslim Engagement and Development Organisation. It's a fantastic organisation that is engaging Muslims up and down the country. So please welcome Aman.
The campaign that we saw Trump run was by far the most Islamophobic campaign I've ever seen ever. It was much worse than what the Tory party tried to do with Zach Goldsmith here in London. Now what are we going to do about that? Now we need to take some time to reflect upon our movement, because our movement on the back of this moment today needs to grow stronger. We need to become more united, we need to become more resourceful, and we need to reach out to as many people as we can so that we can grow this movement to be larger and to see a time when and if Trump dares to ever come to this country, that we'll be in our thousands, even millions on the streets to say he is not welcome. Thank you very much. I can't say that on stage, but another thing that I want to say, and it's a message of hope. Because at times like this, it can become difficult to hold on to hope. But it's integral that we do. And I just want to share a quick poem from the late Seamus Heaney, who passed away a few years ago. And his poem says, "History says don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history can rhyme once more." Solidarity, everyone. Thank you very much.
By paying tribute to people like Harvey Milk, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. These are Americans that we can be so proud of, that we can take example from. And I want to say something about Donald Trump. He has done something even he, the clever man, never expected. He has pulled us together. This is unprecedented, and Donald Trump, we will make sure you are unprecedented. Bridges Not Walls dropped their banners at over 150 locations around the world. It trended above inauguration. That shows people power, and we should make a pledge and a promise here and now. If Donald Trump dares to step into Britain, Bridges Not Walls will drop banners from every bridge across Britain, and we will turn out in tens of thousands across the country. So now let's turn to what's happening in Britain, this so-called special relationship. Well, there's only one thing that I can see in terms of the special relationship, and that is that we, here in Britain, like the people who are disgusted with Trump in America, we are in the belly of the beast. And we need to give that beast the biggest stomachache going, so that when our brothers and sisters are cutting off the arms and legs of this beast around the world, we have done our part here and now to make a very big difference to that. I don't know how many of you have seen the film Pride. Everyone here has seen the film Pride, that's amazing. So lesbians and gays support the miners, stood in solidarity with the miners. And they never stopped trying to show that solidarity. They were not miners themselves, but by doing that, they did something really beautiful. They moved, as well as moving as miners and standing up for them, they moved LGBT rights forward for themselves. That, in the nub, is the very, very crux of solidarity. We need to stand up for the communities that he is targeting and not turn our backs. And we need to say to the LGBT brothers and sisters here, stand up for other people who are not LGBT, but you need to stand up for us as well when he comes for all of us. Trump builds walls, but we need to say, look up at the big blue sky, we are going to build a rainbow, and that is going to stop you. So, to carry on with our chanting, let's just do another chant. Hey! Ho! Sexist Trump has got to go! Say hey! Ho! Sexist Trump has got to go! Say hey! Ho! Sexist Trump has got to go! Say hey! Ho! Sexist Trump has got to go! Hey! Ho! Racist Trump has got to go! Say hey! Ho! Racist Trump has got to go. Say hey, ho, racist Trump has got to go.
Trump has got no rhythm. The rhythm of the movement has been built by people playing music from all over the world. It's traditions that run against everything that Trump says and does. He has no art, he has no culture, and he rejects anything that brings brightness and joy to people's lives. Trump is against creativity, and when he insulted the actors, the actresses, the people that spoke out, is because he couldn't understand that when he wants to snuff out human ability, that he couldn't get anybody with any ability to come and sing with him. Apparently, he's got Flattery, who says he no longer dances, to come to his thing. He's got some brass band from the military to come and play their tattoo, who no one's heard of. So we're proud of those artists that refuse to dance with rhythm. And we would never. We're proud that they said that they wouldn't do that. And what we want to do today, I want you to stay here today, because we've got artists here who've come down to play for us. Because we're dancing to the rhythm of resistance. And our bass is louder than theirs. Drown out what they've got to say. Lock him up. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.